Hello, my name is Jonathan, and I am a fool. But I'm not alone. We live in an age of fools. I don't know if you've been living under a rock for the last few months, but it can't have escaped your notice that we are living in unprecedented times. I mean, the elections, the uprising, the terrorism. It seems that our governments have failed us. These fools have promised us prosperity if we vote for them, but actually it just turns out to be more of the same. Our sports teams are terrible. I'm a United fan. I mean, I have no idea what's going on there. Social media, people post things on Facebook without fact checking. It seems everywhere that you are, there are things that are happening that you cannot control, and it just makes you want to tear your hair out. And at a time like this, when the economy is down, and when the environment is crumbling, and when even our society and the family structures are crumbling, people search for heroes. People are looking for someone or something to ride in on a white horse in shining armor and save the day. I think it's no coincidence that the most popular and the highest grossing movies right now are all superhero movies. People, at least in their time of entertainment, want to be able to imagine a world where good wins, where the bad guy loses, where there are powerful forces and individuals who can sweep in and who can change things and who can make things right. But the reality is that at the end of the movie, we are sat there in the dark as the credits roll, realizing that the fantasy is not reality, that in our lives, things are still a mess. And so in our lives, people often turn to heroes like distractions. Anything to keep us from thinking about and experiencing our pain. Maybe for you it's drugs. Maybe for you it's relationships. Maybe it's your work or even religion. There are people who use religion as an escape from their reality. But whatever it is that you're using, you, like me, discover that at the end of it, the credits are rolling, it's dark, it's lonely, and no help has really come. And so I wonder, as I think about where we are, whether the words of Scripture would have anything to offer us. I mean, there are some who say, hey, the solution is turn to God, turn to the Bible. But if I'm honest, the Bible is a book that seems to be completely incompatible within the world in which we live. Like, take, for example, some of the stories in the Bible. The book starts with a man made from mud, right? And this big being breathes into him and he somehow comes alive. He's talking to animals and, hanging out, and then he falls asleep, and then this being comes back and takes a rib out of his side and makes one. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. It's completely foolish. I mean, we all know that we evolved over millions of years. I mean, the scientists have proved that, haven't they? I mean, there's a story in the book about a young boy who kills a massive giant with a slingshot. Really? Is this the book that's supposed to help us? I mean, what about some of the other stories? The story of the man who walks on water. I mean, that makes no sense. The book is completely filled with these stories, which, if we're honest, they sound like really bad fairy tales. But what is strange, at least to me, is that even though the book seems so foolish, the book doesn't claim not to be foolish. Can I show you something? The Bible, this same book I've been talking about, says this. It says, "For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God." The Bible actually, and I actually find this reassuring, the Bible doesn't try to pretend to be something that it's not. The Bible openly admits, listen, there are many people who are going to find this book to make no sense. So if you're one of those people, fine, there's no problem with that. But then it implies that there are a group of people who are experiencing the book in such a way that it is power for them. It's transforming them. It's changing them. I can say that I have been on both sides of this experience. I grew up around Christianity and I grew up around church, but most of the things I learned as a child were just like, stories, fairy tales, these things that just didn't make sense. And in my everyday life, I didn't know how to connect the dots. I didn't know how they would make a difference. But I've been through some experiences in my life where this book, and more than that, the God that this book describes, has done things for me that I cannot explain anywhere else. And now I'm willing enough to be fool enough to stand here before you and try to encourage you to give this book a try. Paul continues to say further on in the chapter, for since in the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not know him, God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. If you're listening to this right now and thinking, man, not only is the book foolish, but what this man is saying is foolish, you're 100% right. God actually says, I'm going to use the most unsophisticated, the most unbelievable, the strangest method to try to connect people with me. I'm going to let other people stand up and say, listen, I've read something, I've heard something, I've felt something, and it's changed my life. So we're going to be spending a few sessions together going through the Gospel of Mark and seeing how the story of Jesus and the strange and seemingly foolish things that he has done actually affected the people around him and have actually affected people today. We're not going to try to be smart. There are other programs for that. We're not going to try to use big words. We're not going to try to convince you of the science of it or the history of it. We're simply going to present the book as it reads. And you know what my suspicion is? If you're still watching this, you're probably somebody who's tried everything else. I mean, you've tried, science, you've tried relationships, you've tried entertainment, and though you've had some success, you still haven't had peace in your heart. If you're honest right now and you're watching this, maybe you're one of those people who are like, I've got nothing else to lose. And so if that's you, welcome to the club. I want to let you know that the God of this book is real. I know it seems impossible. I know it is improbable, but I can tell you of many occasions in my life when I have felt his presence. And the amazing thing is, I have discovered peace which nothing can take away. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every day is roses, but I have found even in the most difficult times, even when I lost my mother far too young to cancer, somehow I was able to have peace. And others may think I'm a fool, but I know that I am full. I am full of God's Spirit. I am full of his word. I am full of his promises. And this gives me hope. Friend, I hope that you find this fullness too. I hope in your life, no matter what you're going through, that you discover that in being a fool, you can be full. That in following the God who is unpredictable, who goes against the grain, in following the God that doesn't always seem to be peer-reviewed, I hope that you discover that you can be full of a joy, of a peace, and of a power which not only can others not explain, but most importantly, they can't take away. The foolishness of the gospel is making me full. And so in the words of Michael Card, he is a Christian singer, we follow after God's own fool. For only the fools can really tell, believe the unbelievable, and come be a fool as well. I pray that you would join me. My name is Jonathan Burnett, and I am a fool.